Now we're going to move on to bag work. This is a very important part of your training because it requires you to actually hit a target. That means a lot of concentration. You're not just kicking in the air. And the person who's holding the paddle is probably the person who has the most responsibility. So you have to be very concentrated, make sure you hold it correctly so the other person doesn't get hurt. So the most important thing to start with right now is the steps. Step forward with your left just a little bit. Turn your whole body 1 o'clock. Your left hand comes up to protect your cheek. Elbows come in like you're holding a book at 12 o'clock. And the other hand does the same thing at 5 o'clock. Bend your knees slightly. Tuck your head in just a little bit, lifting your shoulders. And you're set to go. Laces to the person down 45 degrees because it's the way that the roundhouse travels. Bring your leg back in the same way that he is, so you're staying away. So if the foot comes too close, you can always move. Roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick. Typically, when we do it in the air, you kick and you bring your leg back. Demonstrate. Okay? But because we're doing on paddles now, we're actually practicing reaching for the person. So we'll end up stepping forward instead of going, reaching in and trying to bring our leg back. Okay? Roundhouse kick. Roundhouse kick. And back. And when you have two paddles, you're able to have them travel. So he does roundhouse, steps forward, roundhouse. And notice how I switch my feet as well. We go back. Roundhouse. I step back, he steps, roundhouse. And for the front kick, straight, horizontal, and then turn it slightly towards you. Again, because it's the way that the foot travels. Front kick, front kick, front kick. And same thing. You can have this way if you want to travel. Kick, switch, switch. Axe kick. Your hand flips the pad over. Now this is important. Your body can't be straight, so you have to be on the side. So if we're straight here, step out a little bit, bring the leg back, axe kick. Axe kick. Axe kick. Actually what Sensei just did is actually important. You don't want to actually hit the bag on the way up, but you do want the foot to go straight. So even if it hits the bag, that's fine. You want to extend, come straight down. Avoid hitting it on the way up, but if you actually kick and you hit it, it's technically hitting this part of the person. You want to bring your leg up, down. If you end up doing 1, 2, that's okay as well. Up. So now what we're going to do is move on to bag work training, moving, footwork, so on and so forth. That's very important. What we've been doing is stationary training, which is just kicking and landing in a nice stance. Back, kick, back, nice stance. So now what we're going to do is actually spar, basically. And whatever I do with my paddle here, he's going to respond. I do this, roundhouse kick. I do this, front kick. I flip it around, hold it like this, axe kick. And at the same time, we're going to be moving around with him as if we're actually sparring. Okay? We don't want to just be back and forth, because this is not a very typical situation for sparring. Sparring is moving around. Here we go. Now we're going to move on to the body shield. And this type of bag is used for more powerful kicks like side kicks, crossing side kick, back kick, which can be defensive or offensive. Okay? The way you hold it, put your hands through. I like to hold it like so because I have more control. But if your arm is big enough, you just put it in there and make sure this is nice and tight. You have to keep your hand here so it doesn't hit your face. Okay? So we'll start with a side kick, okay, from the back leg. Up. Pass. Now we're going to do a crossing side kick. And this is using one of the footwork that we do where your body sideways, takes the back leg, crosses behind the front leg, lift the knee, side kick, down. Okay? Try not to have your kids cross in front, so you don't want them to do this, because then it's really for a roundhouse kick. You want them to use their hip, lift their leg, and push away. Okay? Now the next kick is the back kick. We're going to start with a counter back kick. Now this is really important. Counter back kick, that front leg is going to go where the back leg is, and the back leg is going to kick. Okay, so we're here, this one comes in, kicks, and it happens at the same time, one kick. Okay? We're in. Hup! Hey! Hup! Hey! Hup! Hey! Okay? And what I'm doing with my body is, if I stay right here and he does a counter back kick, nothing happens. Counter back kick is me attacking with like a roundhouse and him doing a spinning back kick. Okay? So what I do with my body is I move towards him so he can do the counter back kick. Okay? Now for offensive, he's over there, I'm here, and all he does is step forward, spin, back kick. Okay? Up! Pass! Up! Pass! Okay? And also when you kick the person, you go back to where you came from. You do not go on a spin, kick, and step forward. You don't know what's going to happen after that. So you step, kick, come back, or step, kick, shuffle back. So now we move to the Wave Master. And this is basically your sparring partner. And we want to treat it like that. When you exercise, you want to move around it. You want to execute all of your types of kick. Front kick, roundhouse kick, fast kick. The only one that will be difficult to use on this is the axe kick because there's a hard part up here. And treat it like your sparring partner. We have 3 different kinds of paddles for you. We'll start with the hand targets. Okay? These are used for punching. What you want to do is put your hands through. Make sure you grab this nice and tight, like so. Okay? Do that to both hands. These are used for front punches. Okay? Jab, front punch, or in boxing it would be called jab crosses. And the way you hold it is 45 degrees towards the person, like so. Okay? So the jab actually goes to the hand that's closest to the person and the cross the one furthest from the person to make them reach a little bit more. Okay? So we'll talk about now the focus targets. And these are what we use for kicking. Okay? It's better than the hand paddles because what happens is if you put it in your hand and you get hit, it's a lot of strain on your shoulder. So we use these because once it gets hit, it flexes by itself. Okay? We'll start with roundhouse kick, which is the most popular for these paddles. Laces always out towards the person, so never hold it like this because they'll have the tendency of kicking the hard part of the target. So you put laces out. For roundhouse kick, it's straight towards the person, down 45 degrees because that's the way that the kick travels. Okay? This is also used for spinning hook kick, same exact way. For front kick, paddle is straight down and then it turns up towards you because of the way your foot is for instep. Okay? And the last one we'll use is our body shield. We put our arms through, like so. You can hold it or just make a fist at the end. Hold with the other hand like so. It can sit on your thigh. Arch it a little bit towards the person. Okay? A lot of times if you have it like this, it will hit you. So you want to keep it steady. This hand is not completely locked. Keep it nice and bent. These are for roundhouse kicks, power roundhouse kicks, side kicks, and back kicks.